So, for your £1.30, what do you get? Let's get the McCrispy out then.
To set sodium reduction targets over the next 2.5 years. The goal, to lower each American's current average daily sodium intake by roughly 12%.
What I'm concerned about is what we're talking about here, the amount of sodium that's in food, particularly
You've heard it 1,000 times, 100% chicken. But what if that slogan hides more filler than foul? When McDonald's and other chains grind scraps, skin, and additives into what looks like white meat, they rely on the idea that you'll never look too close. This isn't about taste, it's about trust. In the next few minutes, you'll see how those soft, uniform bites tell a story your receipt never will. Once you know what to look for, you'll never see a chicken sandwich the same way again. Quick favor before we move on. If you appreciate this content, consider giving this video a like and subscribing to the channel. Believe it or not, more than 92% of viewers haven't subscribed yet. It's free and only takes a second, but it means the world to us. So did you subscribe already? Great, thank you so much for your support. Now back to the video. If you've ever bitten into a chicken nugget that felt too smooth to be real meat, you've already met the illusion. The phrase, 100% chicken, flashes across menus and wrappers like a seal of purity, but it's more of a marketing trick than a promise. You hear it and picture chicken breast, clean, fibrous, and whole, but what ends up in your mouth is often something else entirely. That's the gap fast food chains count on, what you expect versus what you actually deliver. Under the fryer lights, the meat looks right, white inside, crisp outside, but that texture hides a lot. Those pale interiors often start as ground-up skin, cartilage, and leftover bits blended with starches and salt before being shaped into tidy, bite-sized pieces. The result is a pale pink mush that factories whip until it passes for meat. Once shaped and frozen, it's fried into something that looks reassuringly familiar.
The dangers of sodium is too much actually, we know, impacts the kidney.
To set sodium reduction targets over the next 2.5 years. The goal, to lower each American's current average daily sodium intake by roughly 12%.
More lettuce in the McChicken sandwich, you got your mayo, and you got a little slab of chicken breast.
And that's undiagnosed.
Nearly half of all Americans have high blood pressure, a leading cause of heart attacks and strokes.
That's the illusion doing its job. Chains like McDonald's or Burger King have built billion-dollar menus from that formula. The marketing says real chicken, but the supply chain says max efficiency. When real breast meat costs too much, fillers stretch what's left. That's how a meal stays cheap while still pretending to be premium. The texture gives it away, uniform, spongy, almost foamy when you chew. Real chicken tears, this stuff bounces. The more filler you add, the less nutrition you get. Every additive brings more sodium and preservatives, but almost no real protein. For someone counting on fast food chicken for a quick source of meat, that's a nutritional dead end. The bite feels satisfying, but it's mostly salt and chemistry holding it together. The first clue is tactile. If the chicken feels too consistent, too smooth, that isn't quality control, it's cost control. Now that the illusion's exposed, let's look at which chains double down on the blend. What if the same shortcuts hiding in nuggets also show up in your grilled wrap, your fresh sub, and even your sit-down pasta plate? That's the industry trick, different chains, same playbook. They all swear their chicken is real, but every kitchen finds a different way to stretch a bird further than nature intended. It's not just fast food anymore, it's everywhere from drive-thrus to dine-ins pretending to cook from scratch. Take Subway. Those strips folded into a wrap look lean, but they often carry a soy-based binder that keeps them soft even after days in a warmer. KFC's wings? Brine till they swell, pumped with salt water to add weight. And at Panda Express, the orange glaze hides meat that's been cooked twice, once in a factory, once in a pan, and drowned in sugar to mask how dry it actually is. Different menus, same goal, make processed chicken act like fresh.
From 3,400 to 3,000 milligrams a day. And even that is still higher than what the government really recommends.
So, for your £1.30, what do you get? Let's get the McCrispy out then.
They'll say, well, I'll reduce the amount of salt in my diet. I won't use the salt shaker. I'm not so concerned about that. So that's going to affect our blood pressure. And we have an explosion of high blood pressure, especially high blood pressure that's uncontrolled.
People who've worked behind those counters will tell you what that process looks like: sealed bags pre-cooked off-site, dropped into steamers, sometimes held all day under heat lamps. Reheated meat keeps its sheen, but the juice you see is often just water and fat pooling on the surface. The nutrition goes down while the illusion goes up. Health-wise, those shortcuts add up. Sodium climbs. Preservatives linger. When chicken sits too long or gets reheated again, bacteria doesn't always stay quiet, especially for seniors whose immune defenses run slower. Even a grilled sandwich can pack the same salt load as a full frozen dinner, only disguised by branding. And mid-tier restaurants aren't off the hook. Chains like Olive Garden or Domino's rely on vacuum-sealed pre-cooked portions. Prepped miles away, thawed, sauced, and served, efficiency over freshness. When you see chicken that's all the same size, glossy, and dripping more than it chews, you've found the second red flag.
Which is 2,300 milligrams a day.
But this is a step in the right direction. It's progress. Processed food to help it with flavor and packaging and, as a preservative.
I think for a meal though, I think we're about £7.29. Which, I suppose, I don't know, it's not that dear really.
What I'm concerned about is what we're talking about here. The amount of sodium that's in food, particularly
at least I've got a McCrispy, I think. And not a Big Mac again. Got the bun there. That's on it now.
Too much moisture means injection, marinade, or filler. The next step is learning how to spot the real thing before you ever take a bite. The truth is, no slogan protects you from filler, only your own eye and common sense do. When you pick up a chicken sandwich, check the texture first. Real meat has muscle lines that pull apart, fake meat looks foamy, folded, or unnaturally smooth. Perfect shapes and glossy surfaces usually mean a lab did the work, not a farm. Those fake pieces bring more sodium and additives than actual nutrition. So next time you order, pause before biting. Let your eyes decide first. And like and subscribe to help us keep the spotlight on the food industry's best-kept secrets.